So next topic is eukaryotic chromosomes and its organization. Now, as we all know, eukaryotic cell has definite structure and nucleus is present in eukaryotes. Inside this nucleus, genome is present. Genome is present in the form of chromosomes. So there is an organized structure in eukaryotic cell which is nucleus where this genome fits in. So to fit in within the small volume of nucleus, this eukaryotic chromosomes need to be organized properly, need to be condensed with the help of protein so that they get fitted within the nucleus. Eukaryotic species contain one or more sets of chromosomes. Each set is composed of several different linear chromosomes. The total amount of DNA in eukaryotic species is greater than that in bacterial cell, almost 1000 times greater in size than bacterial genome. Chromosomes in eukaryotes are located in nucleus. To fit in there, they must be highly compacted. This is achieved by binding of many proteins. DNA protein complex is termed as chromatin. Remember what is chromatin? Chromatin is the DNA complexed with proteins. Eukaryotic genomes, they vary in size. In most of the cases, this variation is not related to the complexity of species. That is, there is no correlation between the size of the genome and the complexity of genome. For example, there is twofold difference in size of the genome in two closely related salamander species. That is, even though there are two closely related salamander species, there is double difference in size of the genome. That is, one species has say 100 base pair genome, for example, another have 200 base pair of genome. Okay, so there is variation in each species. Okay, the difference in the size of the genome is not because of extra genes that are present. Rather, it is because of accumulation of repetitive DNA sequences. Because of presence of repetitive DNA sequences, what are repetitive DNA sequences? Specific base pair sequence. Say for example, 20 base pair sequence is repeated many times onto the genome, and this leads, presence of this repetitive DNA sequences leads to the difference in sizes of the genome. These repetitive DNA sequences, these do not encode any protein. Now see, this is the graph depicting genome sizes of different organisms. Okay, this 10 raised to 6, 10 raised to 7, 10 raised to 8, 10 raised to 9, these are base pairs. Now see, in mammals genome size is between 10 raised to 9 to 10 raised to 10. Okay, amphibians, the size varies from say 10 raised to 9 to 10 raised to 11. Plants, the size varies from 10 raised to 8 to 10 raised to 11, and fungi 10 raised to 7 to 10 raised to 8. That is, if we consider mammals, say for example different animals, their genome size varies even if they are under the group mammals. Same case is for plant. If we consider different plants species, each has different genome size. Say for example Arabidopsis thaliana plant, and say for example this, what you say, lemon tree, or any other tree. If you consider, the size of the genome varies even if they belong to same category. Now the salamander, these are the two species of salamander salamander amphibian, Plethodon richmondi and Plethodon larseli. This one, B, Plethodon richmondi, has a genome that is twice the size of this Plethodon larseli because of presence of repetitive sequences. Now the organization of eukaryotic chromosome. A eukaryotic chromosome contain long linear DNA molecule. Remember, bacterial chromosomes, they are smaller in size than eukaryotic chromosome, and they are circular double-stranded DNA molecule. This is the basic difference between eukaryotic and prokaryotic genomes. Prokaryotic genome, that is bacterial genome, is circular. Eukaryotic genome is linear double-stranded DNA molecule. Now in eukaryotic genome, or say on DNA sequences, there are three types that are needed for chromosomal replication and segregation. First is origins of replication sequences, second is centromere sequences, and third is telomere sequences. Okay, origin of replication required for replication of the chromosome. Centromeres are central regions of the chromosome which holds two sister chromatids, and telomeres, these are the ends of chromosomes, distal regions of the chromosomes present, which help in maintaining ends of chromosomes. Now see this one. This distal region is centromeric, distal part, that is ends of the linear DNA. Now this is linear DNA molecule which consists three types of sequences. Origin of replication. See, now remember, bacterial genomes, they have only one origin of replication, whereas this eukaryotic genome, there are many replication origins, because the DNA, eukaryotic DNA, is longer in size, larger in size. So DNA replication starts at multiple points, many points at the same time, so that whole DNA get replicated within short time. That should not consume longer time for replication. So replication starts at multiple sites. So here you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. For example, there are 4. There are many origins of replication present on eukaryotic genomes. Okay. This central region is known as centromere. This is for holding sister chromatids together, and its distal region, that is ends, are known as telomeric sequences. This one, which you can see, These are repetitive DNA sequences present. Okay, and these single lines encode genes. Okay, see these are genes and these are repetitive sequences. Remember, you can repetitive sequences does not encode any protein. Eukaryotic chromosomes are linear. A typical chromosome is tens of millions to hundreds of millions base pair in length. Eukaryotic chromosomes occur in set. We know there are 23 pairs of chromosomes present in humans. 22 pairs are autosomes and one is sex chromosome, which decides sex of the organism. Genes are interspersed throughout the chromosome. A typical chromosome contains few hundred and several thousand different genes. Each chromosome contains many origins of replication that are interspersed about every 100,000 base pairs. That is, after each, say 1 lakh base pair, origin of replication is present. Each chromosome contains centromere that form recognition site for the kinetochore protein. You must have studied mitosis and meiosis. In that you would have studied kinetochore role. Now the role of kinetochore is for attaching spindle during cell division. Spindles, they attach to this proteinaceous core which develops around the central region and helps in segregation, proper segregation of chromosomes during cell division. Telomere, these are specialized sequences located at both ends of linear chromosome. Repetitive sequences are found near centromeric and telomeric region but may also be distributed, interspersed throughout the chromosome. Remember, centromeric and telomeric regions are rich in repetitive sequences. These repetitive sequences are also present, distributed throughout the genome. Not only at the centromere and telomere, they are distributed onto the genome. Centromeric and telomeric regions are rich in repeats. Genes are located between the centromeric and telomeric regions along the entire chromosome. A single chromosome usually has few hundred to several thousand genes. In lower eukaryotes such as yeast, remember yeast is a single celled eukaryote. Genes are relatively small. They contain sequence encoding the polypeptide. Very low introns are present. Introns, these are non-coding regions present onto the DNA molecule. The coding sequences are known as exons, which codes either for RNA or proteins. Introns are non-coding regions. Number of introns vary in each species. In higher eukaryotes, such as mammals, genes are long. They tend to have many introns. Repetitive sequences. Sequence complexity refers to the number of times particular sequence appears onto the genome. Number of times specific sequence repeated onto the genome. Say for example, consider 10 base pair sequence. This 10 base pair sequence, say GAATTC, like this 10 base pair sequence repeated many times onto the genome. Now how many times it is repeated, that decides the category of this repetitive sequences or type of the repetitive sequence. There are three types of repetitive sequences. First is unique or non-repetitive, the sequences which are never repeated onto the genome. Moderately repetitive sequences, that is say this 10 base pair sequence, for example, say repeated 1000 times. Highly repetitive sequence, 10 base pair sequence, say for example repeated 1 lakh times. This is highly repetitive. If it is repeated 1000 times, moderately repetitive, and if it is never repeated, these are known as unique or non-repetitive sequences. Unique or non-repetitive sequences, these are found once or few times into the genome. These include structural genes as well as intergenic areas. Intergenic areas, these are the areas or the sequences which separate two genes from one another. Say A and B genes are present simultaneously, side by side to each other. So this A and B, these two are separated by the sequence known as intergenic sequences. Structural genes, the products of these genes, they are involved in particular function which carry out cell metabolism. Say for example DNA polymerase. The particular gene which encodes DNA polymerase is known as structural gene because the product of that gene is involved in mechanism of DNA replication. Then second is moderately repetitive DNA sequences. These are repeated few hundred to few thousand times. Includes genes for rRNA and histones, origins of replications, and transposable elements. Transposable elements are nothing but jumping genes. The genes which jump from one position to the other either by direct cut and paste mechanism or by replicative transfer, that is maintaining their one copy at the place, replicate and then jump from one place to the other. Okay, so moderately repetitive sequences include genes for rRNA and histones, origins of replication, and transposable elements. Highly repetitive sequences, these are found tens of thousands to million times. Each copy is relatively short, that is the sequence is short but repeated million times. Okay. Some sequences are interspersed throughout the genome. For example, ALU family in human. Other sequences are clustered together in tandem arrays. Tandem arrays, that is, see these two sequences in Drosophila, AATAT, AATAT, AT. So this AATAT sequence is repeated and few say nucleotides are added. These are known as tandem arrays. These are commonly found in centromeric regions. Now see, this is the DNA molecule. If you subject the solution containing double-stranded DNA molecules to high temperature, if you boil that solution, two DNA strands which are coiled around one another, they separate and you will get two single strands like this. This process is known as denaturation or melting of the DNA. Okay, denaturation or melting of the DNA is the process when you suspend DNA solution at high temperature. Double stranded DNA molecule, they separate from one another. Now how this separation occurs? This separation occurs by cleaving these hydrogen bonds which hold these two DNA strands together. Okay, hydrogen bonds, they are broken, which are present between A, T and GC pairs in adjacent strand, and then you get two single strands of DNA molecule. Then when you cool down the same solution in which these single stranded DNA molecules are present, these two again renature to form double stranded DNA molecule. Okay, so this first stage is denaturation. When subjected to high temperature, double stranded DNA molecule melts, two strands they separate from one another, and when you lower the temperature again, two strands again renature. A rate of renaturation of complementary DNA strands provides a way to distinguish three different types of repetitive sequences: unique, moderately repetitive, and highly repetitive DNA sequences. A rate of renaturation of particular DNA sequence depends on concentration of its complementary partner. Highly repetitive DNA will be fastest to renature. That is, if the DNA strands they have highly repetitive DNA present, they'll renature within very short time, because that particular DNA, if it has high repetitive sequences, they are matched within short time. Because there are many copies of complementary sequences present, unique sequences will be the slowest to renature, because those are never repeated, and when the renaturation occurs, one strand has to find each and every match, perfect match or complementary base pair in another strand. One by one it will match, and then two strands they renature. It takes added time for these sequences to find each other. This is the Cott curve. See, on x-axis C0T, it's plotted. C0 is initial concentration of DNA. T is time it takes to renature. On y-axis, it's percent of DNA reassociated. So here you can see this graph is decreasing like this. Okay, so these are fast DNA components which takes very less time to renature. Okay, see here it is 0, 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. These are percent of DNA reassociated. Fast DNA components which have highly repetitive DNA sequences, they renature within short time. Then these are intermediate DNA sequences, moderately repetitive DNA sequences which takes intermittent time. And these are slow component which has unique sequences which are not repeated, they take longer time to renature. Okay, this is known as Cott curve. Cott curve, the Cott curve is used for identifying repetitive DNA sequences present in particular DNA molecule. 60 to 70% of the human DNA are unique sequences. 60 to 70% of human DNA contain non-repetitive or unique sequences. Then eukaryotic compaction. If stretched end to end, a single set of human chromosome will be over 1 meter long. Yet the cell nucleus size is only 2 to 4 micrometer in diameter, which is almost 1000 times smaller than the size of the DNA. Therefore, the DNA must be highly compacted to fit. The compaction of the linear DNA in eukaryotic chromosome involves interaction between DNA and various proteins. Proteins bound to the DNA are subject to change during the life of the cell. That is, the proteins can associate as well as dissociate from the DNA at different stages of cell cycle. These changes affect the degree of compaction or degree of chromatin condensation. Sometimes the DNA is highly condensed, sometimes it is loosely arranged. Nucleosome. The repeating structural unit within the eukaryotic chromatin is the nucleosome. It is composed of double-stranded DNA wrapped around an octamer of histone protein. Now these histone proteins, these help in DNA compaction, eukaryotic DNA compaction. These histones, they are of 5 types: H2A, H2B, H3, H4 and H1. Octamer is composed of 2 copies of 4 core histones. What are core histones? Which forms octamer includes H2A, H2B, H3 and H4. 2 copies of each of this H2A, H2B, H3 and H4. In total, these 8 units, they form octamer. Around this octamer, 146 base pair DNA make 1.65 negative superhelical turns around the octamer. 146 base pair DNA is wrapped around this octamer which is formed. See this one, these yellow circles which you can see, these are core histones, H2A, H2B, H3 and H4. 2 molecules of each, 2 H2A, 2 H2B, 2 H3, this one and this one, and 2 H4, this one and this one. Total 8 histones. This forms octamer, and negatively supercoiled DNA, double-stranded DNA, is wrapped around this histone octamer. Around 146 base pair DNA is wrapped around each octamer. So, on the linear DNA, there are many such octamers arranged, and DNA is wrapped around each octamer. Okay, diameter of this is 11 nanometer. Now this nucleosome model looks like beads on string or like a necklace. So it is known as beads on string model. Now see here, in between this one octamer and another octamer, the DNA which is present is known as linker DNA. This linker DNA is joined by another histone, H1 histone, fifth histone, H1. H1 therefore is known as linker histone, which join 2 octamers together. These are core histones. The DNA wrapped around this core histone or octamer is core DNA, and this from here to here is linker DNA. Now, linker region varies between 20 to 100 base pair depending on species and cell type. Overall structure of connected nucleosome resembles beads on a string. This structure shortens the DNA length about 7-fold. Imagine a thread, long thread. If you tie, say, chalk pieces or thermocol balls, if you take thermocol ball and wrap thread in between on this thermocol ball at different regions, this will look like this nucleosome model or beads on string model. Histone proteins are basic. They contain many positively charged amino acids like lysine and arginine. These binds with the phosphate groups of the DNA backbone. There are 5 histones: H2A, H2B, H3 and H4. These are core histones. 2 of each make up octamer. H1 is linker histone, binds linker DNA. Also binds 2 nucleosomes together but not as tightly as the core histones. See this one, this is octamer, core histone which forms octamer. This is DNA wrapped around the octamer. This is linker histone which joins entry and exit points of the DNA in the nucleosome, and these are non-histone proteins which prevent digestion of the DNA or which protect the DNA molecule. Non-histone protein also play a role in organization and compaction of chromosomes. Now this nucleosome join to form 30 nanometer fiber model. Nucleosomes associate with each other to form more compact structure termed 30 nanometer fiber. Histone H1 plays a role in compaction. At moderate salt concentration, H1 is removed. The result is classic beads on string morphology. At low salt concentrations, H1 remains bound. Beads associate together into more compact morphology. "30 nanometer fiber model is the next level of genome compaction, where the genome length, DNA length, shortens 7-fold. Its structure has proven difficult to determine because the DNA conformation may be substantially altered when extracted from living cells. 2 models have been proposed. One is solenoid model and another is 3D, three-dimensional zigzag model. So this one is solenoid model. This one is regular spiral configuration containing 6 nucleosomes per turn. Consider the beads on strings. If you rotate it in, say, anti-clockwise manner in such a way that there are 6 nucleosomes per turn, this will looks like solenoid model, and this is 3D zigzag model. Dimension of both is 30 nanometer. This is irregular configuration where nucleosomes have little face-to-face contact. Further compaction is achieved by 2 events where the DNA length shortens about 50-fold. third level of compaction involves interaction between 30 nanometer fiber and the nuclear matrix. Nuclear matrix is composed of two parts. One is nuclear lamina and matrix proteins. So this is how it looks. These are nuclear lamina, 10 nanometer fiber model. These are matrix protein bound to 10 nanometer fiber. DNA compaction involves formation of loops like this. Each loop is secured at the base with the matrix proteins. These yellow colored one are matrix protein and this green one is nuclear lamina. Each loop is of variable size ranging from 25,000 to 2 lakh base pairs. Now this MAA is matrix assisted region. The specific sequence onto the DNA, they only join with this matrix proteins. So these are known as MARS, matrix assisted regions. Not all the DNA sequences can bind to matrix protein or nuclear lamina. Only specific sequences they bind to matrix. They are known as MARS, matrix assisted regions, matrix attachment regions or matrix assisted regions, or SARS, scaffold attachment regions. MARS are anchored to the nuclear matrix, thus creating radial loops. Further compaction involves two ways. It plays a role in gene regulation and serves to organize chromosome within the nucleus. Each chromosome in the nucleus is located in discrete and non-overlapping territory.